If you scrolled through any of your social media feeds this week, chances are you saw it. #MeToo. Thousands and thousands of women and some men shared their stories of sexual harassment and assault, inappropriate touching, unwanted attention, and comments about their body and appearance, rape. It's uncomfortable to read, sure, but imagine living through it.
Me too. And I was blamed for it. I was told not to talk about it.
I was 9 years old when the child sexual abuse started.
Actress Alyssa Milano started the trend, tweeting, "If you've been sexually harassed or assaulted, write Me Too" as a reply to this tweet. By Tuesday, CNN reported the hashtag had been used on Twitter 825,000 times. Facebook said 45% of people in the U.S. are friends with someone who posted a message with the words Me Too. These stories came from our friends, our family members, people we know and love. A sobering reminder of just how pervasive sexual harassment and assault is in our society. It's become a battle cry, rallying together so many who thought they were alone. Instead, they heard, "Me too." They heard, "You're not alone." They heard, "This is not your fault." The courage of those saying Me Too is blazing a path toward a new reality, one where this behavior is not tolerated, not accepted as part of life. It's a reminder that when victims' voices unite, they become too loud to drown out.
I'm a survivor.
Tonight, we give 3 cheers to all the people who boldly said, Me Too.
Today we join in prayer together and offer our final respect to Lieutenant Matthew Letourneau, who died in the line of duty in heroic service to our city as a Philadelphia firefighter.
He will be with us every step of the way. For Matt is not gone. He has simply gone ahead. He has gone ahead and joined a company of other heroes. And there is no doubt that they are working their way down that smoky hallway, making it safe for the rest of us.
Sports stadiums in Philadelphia, they come and they go. Venues like the Baker Bowl at 15th and Huntington Street are long gone with no sign of their storied past. Connie Mack Stadium at 21st and Lehigh was the home of the A's, Phillies, and Eagles, but now it's a church. JFK Stadium closed its doors and eventually gave way to the Wells Fargo Center. And America's showplace, The Spectrum, is now Xfinity Live.
You can't help but feel that you're walking through history here.
In Philadelphia, only one stadium has continued to stand the test of time, That's Franklin Field. At various times during its 122-year history, Franklin Field has hosted the Army-Navy game, the Eagles.
The Eagles are the champions of the world.
The Penn Relays, even historical moments like FDR's acceptance speech at the 1936 Democratic National Convention. Not to mention a U2 concert and that now notorious day when Santa Claus was pelted with snowballs. David Johnson, director of the Penn Relays, walked us through the history of the building while dropping the names of those who walked through its famous gates.
We had Jim Thorpe here competing at the Penn Relays, Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis, Usain Bolt in the most recent times. And then in 1925, Red Grange from Illinois made his only appearance on the East Coast here and set an NCAA collegiate rushing record with 331 yards and 3 touchdowns that day. There's a rumor out there or a myth that Lou Gehrig once hit a home run here. Didn't happen. He did pitch in a game for Columbia against Penn in 1923 and got shelled.
With so much history over the years, one thing is clear. Franklin Field is a huge part of Philadelphia history and will continue to be for many years to come.
You see a nice waterfall of chocolate?
You know what they say.
Nobody bakes a cake as tasty as a tasty cake.
Tastykake has been a Philadelphia original since 1914. But there's a lot more than just sugar and flour that goes into making these treats.
We're baking to a very precise formula, precise temperature, and so we've got to change the heat we go out a little bit, maybe sure we change the water. We've got to account for all those variables, humidity, temperature, water, and so there's a lot of science behind it.
To find out how they do it, we suited up, hairnet and all, for special access to the Tastykake Bakery in South Philadelphia.
I think this is where all the fun happens.
The bakery is in production 5 to 6 days a week with 3 shifts around the clock. Tastykake President Paul Ritter acted as our guide. Peanut butter candy cakes were our goal. It all starts with the cake batter.
So we're able to, with our ovens, as the cake travels up and down through it, to exactly control the temperature and the way it bakes, to get just the right amount of air in it, because the amount of air that's in it really gives it good flavor.
I was going to say, and does that affect the fluffiness of it?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
Bakers test the volume and weight of the batter every 15 minutes to make sure it's just right. Once the cake's cool, it's time for the good stuff.
We use enough peanut butter to make about 8 million peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a year.
That peanut butter is made from a special recipe just for Tastykake. From there, the cakes head under a chocolate waterfall.
We essentially bathe them in chocolate. We cover the top, and then we actually puddle it up from the bottom.
Covered in warm chocolate, the cake goes through a long cooling tunnel, which dips down to 40 degrees, making them crunchy.
Feel that and try and crack it in half. You'll notice
Oh yeah, it's much harder.
it's a lot harder because it's actually cool. It's about 40 degrees. And so we get it nice and cold. You can't eat that out here, I'm sorry.
Throughout the process, a series of electronic eyes keeps watch over the cakes.
If it doesn't identify 2 candy cakes in that pack perfectly right with the seal, it'll pick it off.
The good ones continue down the line and into boxes. Next stop, store shelves.
It takes about half an hour from the time we deposit to the time they're ready to be sold.
Between the chocolate and the peanut butter, there's a lot of history sandwiched in these treats.
Our customers are fanatical about our product, and they don't ever want it to change. And so we've got to balance that. Don't do anything different with do something new at the same time to keep them interested, to keep them excited.
And to keep them coming back for more.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory.
It's game day. The 4-1 Eagles visit the 4-1 Panthers in just hours right here on CBS 3. After rolling over the Cardinals Sunday,
He is in for the touchdown.
Eagles Nation is ready to celebrate again.
We found out in the first 5 games that we have a good team.
A good team. Great fans. And one big game tonight.
D-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
The arts are all around in Ambler. Just open your eyes and see what pops on the main drag. Interesting.
Even their meters have art. You had a quarter?
But if you're looking for fine art, there is one gallery turning heads. The Cellini Studios and Art Gallery is a second-floor light-filled gallery off of Poplar that prides itself on highlighting local artists.
We're not trying to pull in the biggest names in the world. We're trying to pull in people who do art in our community and sell their art for them. The voice of our art is real. That's the main thing, that it's something that the artist has poured their heart into and studied and trained for and is ready to display to the public.
It's owned by husband and wife Lisa and Carl Cellini. You'll find Lisa curating unique collections in the gallery and Carl attacking art in the studio.
A lot of this stuff is very expressionistic, so I'm not here painting like this very often. It's more of an attack on the painting that's called.
I want to do that. I want to attack some art.
And let's just say he really gets into his work.
You painted this with your feet?
Part of it, yes. I wanted that movement to be in the painting.
It's no secret art is alive in Ambler, and if you want to get in on the action, the Mermaid Art Studio is the place to give it a whirl.
You can't mess this place up. You cannot get paint where it shouldn't be. It's fun. It's inspiring to see people get inspired.